So, Fáilte, welcome back. I was away for a couple of law Sira, a few days of holidays there, and I managed to bag myself a bit of a job lot of parts. So we'll have a look through. These are all for Ferguson 20 diesel and Ferguson 20 TVO, and very like the Scrapes the Shed series of videos that I have up on the playlists. I'll often put up any work I do on parts for display on the wall or for tractor parts. So these weren't in the bag because they didn't want to get them damaged. So I've got a Ferguson 20 diesel oil pressure gauge. Someone was obviously scratching away at there, so what I'm going to do is I strip these. I'll put the glass from this one in. As you can see, the rubber seals after falling off in there. So I'll make one good gauge out of the two of these, and you see this one has the bracket on the back and it has the nice brass slads there, and I can try these on the air compressor and see are they working. One of them looks like it's reading a little bit of pressure already, so that's the one I'll use the glass from. So we'll see does the other one work. So what you do is you get your gun and just shoot it in there, and it does. There's only a tiny bit of pressure in this tank, so that's good enough for me. I will put a bit more pressure on that later on after I've stripped it, but once it moves at all I think it should work, so that's good. The rest of it then we'll strip, free it all up, and then we'll keep this one for spares for these screws, for these nice brass lads here. They really are nice parts to have, and as you can see, only notice that there now, this was a job lot. It was kind of buy it all or don't buy any of it, so we'll literally use this as a donor. So we'll use the seal inside that's fallen off there, and we'll use the glass that's a bit scratched. I will try and take them scratches out with the Dremel and a polishing bit with a bit of metal polish or something. I'll try my best to see if it's salvageable. If it's not, it's no big deal. This was there as well. I see it's reading pressure. It's original Smiths off 35. It's missing its two threaded lads at the back, but again it was thrown in, and I might just strip it down. One thing I noticed on this gauge as well is it has this extra little chrome surround on it there, so I'll pull that off and I'll keep it. It was obviously to help it sit in a bigger hole in the dash for whatever reason, so we'll keep him. A little bit damaged, we'll tap all that out. It's in good condition, otherwise it's not rusty or anything like that. Could be useful for something. We'll enjoy tapping that into shape. So, right, so what's inside the goodies? This is a bit of an adjuster, and the reason why I wanted this is I have all of this original on the shelf, and when I tried getting this moving on the one I had, it just was not moving. Now this isn't moving at the moment, I wouldn't say. I'd even try it. It'll have to probably get heated. It has a grease nipple, so I'll screw him out, and I will put in a bit of penetrating oil to that, leave it soaking, and I might leave it soaking a few days up like that and a few days down, and we'll try and get as much of that stuff in there as we can. Try and get that off. It does look to be fairly original, and then maybe this part might be of use as well for some of the parts that are in it. We'll see. So I'll just go and get the other one I have just to show you. So this is the original one. It's all free and working, and the threads don't look too bad at the bottom there. It has its grease nipple in and it's turning. So the idea is we put that on. Now why are we going doing that? Apart from the fact that I love hardship, there's a new one on my Ferguson 20 diesel. Actually, it's not. I took it off because there's a good reason why I took it off, for using transport. Just using the normal transport box work. I'm trying to think where I put it, but I probably can explain why I don't have it on. I show one of these. So on the new ones, this sticks out a lot more, and that sits on your axle. And then if you have a full load in your transfer box or whatever, it starts bending this because it sits. I think you can probably see the mark on the axle here from where the new one was actually digging into it. So I take it off when I'm only using transfer box. You can probably see it. Let's try and get it to focus in a bit there. It was actually painted since, I haven't fitted it since it was painted, so you can see the mark there, it's fairly pronounced, and that was starting to bend. So I just put on 2 solid ones when I'm only using the transfer box, because to be honest, the only time you'd really use that is when you're ploughing and stuff like that, when you want to plough deeper or bring the soil up higher on the boards of the plough. So I just want to piece together an original one. I seen it in the job lot, in the part that was in the job lot, and I said to myself, I fancy having a go at that. Bring it into the gas cooker when the wife isn't around, inside in the kitchen. I'll heat it up. There was a bit of a starting handle. I know it's probably not 100%, we'll say original. Don't think, he said it was used on a Ferguson 20 TVO. I think this is probably down a little bit too far, so we'll just give it a try and see, does it go in. I think it's too thin as well. It does get a grip on it there, but it doesn't go in very far. So what we do with that one is, very simply, we cut a bit off the end of it, and it might just get you out of a hole. So again, it was either buy all or buy nothing. So we'll be able to make that into a useful part with minimal amount of work. So we have some Ferguson, genuine Ferguson spanner, centimetres on one side. Why is there centimetres on one side and inches on the other? Well, this was actually your dipstick for your fuel tank, and because Harry Ferguson sent the tractor abroad, sold them abroad as the TO, or tractor overseas, the TO 20, 30 and all of that, and 35, some countries had centimetres, and they probably preferred to see that when they were dipping in, they'd have a better idea what fuel was in the tank. So anyway, as I've probably shown before, very useful little thing. They came in the toolbox originally, they fit in lovely. They do your wheel nuts, they do your front axle, because of course back in the day, if you were working with drills and all of that, drills and all that, you'd be using it there. I think they do the hubcap as well, so if you wanted to take this off to do your bit of grease and oiling, it'll do that for you. This one's seen a good bit of work. It's a little bit wider than it should be, it's a little bit worn. I do have some others up here in better condition when I painted, and that is also one there with all the measurements on it. A little bit clearer, centimetres, and you'll see 3 and 6 inches there as well. So 11/16 on the end, handy with for your injectors on the 20 diesel, and for all of these lads there, 11/16 all your engine. If you want to take off your earth lead there, you could use that. That kind of stuff was in the job lot. I pieced them together with the grease guns, like so, every now and again, and I sell them as a nice little, clean these up, just one for cleaning up, and I sell them as a nice little toolbox filler, I'd say. Some throttle rods there. Ferguson 20 diesel throttle rods, so they're a little bit specific, so try and get the focus in. Now, I don't know what I want to focus on there now. Put up here a bit maybe. So in here you have a kind of a ball end that's on a spring. I'll get a screwdriver. I'm going to show you that spring, and that goes over a little ball knuckle. So all going well, that spring is moving in and out. It is, that one is anyway, and this one then is as well, springing up. So you want, this one wants to come up a little bit more, wants a bit of cleaning out, and that will go on to the likes of your throttle venturing there. Go on to him, like that, and they're special little all joint lads, which goes on to that are you can't buy new. And there they are there. Get them to focus again. Like that. So they will screw in to like so here. All going well. And they'll push on then. So these are a lovely little original part to get. And you get your screwdriver in and you clean it out and you push it and there you go. Right? So you can make these with newer parts, but there's something about the original ones. They're the right length. You're getting the right mixture between air and diesel, and the engine just runs better. So I've sold about a full set of these last week to a lad who was stuck, really stuck. So it's nice to get the likes of them every now and again. So that's good. So I like to get them. I had to make some new ones for my own 20 diesel, so I might just use that to convert it back to standard. And we also have some nice pipes there for joining the two fuel filters. My Ferguson 20 diesel only has one fuel filter on it. It's the way I got it when I bought it. Should have two. So I managed in this job lot as well to bag a nice original fuel filter, so we'll be cleaning him out. Stripping them down. It is a Purolator is what's written on the top there, something similar to the oil filters up there I have on the wall. So I have had to get replacing one of these in the past because of rust in the down right here where you can't clean it out with a bit of wire, so I don't even know if this is clear. Doesn't seem to be so far. It's hard to get it. Might need a bit of work on that. But regardless, we'll work it. We'll work it. There's no rush on it. It's sure nice to have it. Nice brass ends, bit of solder on them. Nice workmanship. I have a bit of a gas system here. The knob on the end was broke off, unfortunately. Little bit of a nuisance, a bit of stripping down, might be able to find one of them. Seems to have suction on it there, so that will pull a bit of diesel from your gas tank, and then it'll shoot it up into your air intake just there above that little lever I shoved in there. There's a little injector in there, and it goes on top of your heater plug. Heater plug ignites it, helps start cold weather. So some of it's brass. That'll polish up lovely. The person unfortunately used an angle grinder taking it off. I will have to probably use a bit of JB Weld. There's a bit of damage on it here and there. A bit of JB Weld, maybe tap it all flat with the dent removal hammers. Shot blast it. Fill it up a nice job with JB Weld, and then file it flat, sand it, all of that. Use the Dremel. Try and take off this brass, lad. Try and get out these screws as safely as possible. God, that could be a bit of fun. If not, I leave them as they are and just try and shot blast around and clean them up and all of that. And then do a bit of work on this to take the dents out of it. It could get someone out of a hole. Try and free up the little adjuster here that would have allowed more or less in, and clean up all of these brass nuts, connectors. Get it a little more presentable. Shot blast all the rust out of there. Maybe prime it, paint it grey. It's not perfect, but it will get someone out of the hole, and it will help them fill a hole in the dash. We've got some original starter motors here for TVO Fergusons and petrol Fergusons. I like them. I like them a lot. I like stripping them down and getting them working, so we'll get all there's a bit of a battery cable on here as well. Not the best looking one I've ever seen in my life, but we will definitely give it we'll do a bit of work on it and clean it up a bit. It might be useful for something, even for testing. They're all turning, thankfully, and it has the little band around it there. Hasn't rusted through, which is good. Might need a new bolt on there, a new nut. It's a bit too far gone, but that's very easy. New nut and bolt on that. That'll do. Another one here, I say this is probably more for parts. It is turning. Apparently they're all working. I do not know myself. Some nice brass nuts on the end, all original like them. Some of the, yeah, I think this is more parts one. We'll clean all them down, get the dates off them, get the part numbers off them. Some of these are in good nick as well. Might be able to use them if we need to. And the final part is another starter. It's missing the band, but I'm told he has the band. He just forgot to throw it in, and I deal with him regularly, so I'll definitely get that. Bendix looks good. Teeth in the starter don't look too bad at all. So we'll clean all of them down, see what sort of a year they are. See, are they coming in the Ferguson vintage? I've got my cup on tea here, so I'll take a slug of that. Wet the whistle, as they say. I'll plug in my ever-suffering drill. 10-year-old drill. I don't know how it's still alive at the work. Yes. So, what are we doing? Are we in Ferguson vintage? 1946 to 56. We're coming in 11th of 54, so November 54, so that's good. Some people find that, you know, look for that. They want the date right. Or parts one, most likely, unless I can get new brushes, which I'm sure I can. That's what seems to be missing there. Let's see, is this one coming in the same vintage? Okay, 1960 this one's coming in at, I think, unless I can find something else on it. Look at that now, it does seem to be a little bit different in the casting. So we've got a few extra numbers on this. I don't know, these job numbers from years ago, or get the focus to work first. Something there, something to do 1982, maybe it was done up, and maybe a job number there, because the original date on this seems to be over here, and we have 260. Now I do think that that is a little bit different. It probably would work perfect, but judging by these lads, it does seem to be, they seem to be in a different place. And the final one here is a little bit surface rust on that. Turning free, definitely needs a bit of work. It's a bit in and outy. Now where do we look for numbers? I don't know, is this one very old? It is Lucas. There's Lucas in the end of it. Yeah, I was looking for dates. Looking for dates is what I'm looking for. struggling to find dates on this one now, but sure, look, we'll give it another quick lick and see. Yeah, I'm struggling to see dates on it. Definitely Lucas. So look, we'll leave that one to one side. We'll definitely have a go at stripping them down and see what's happening inside before. I always like to strip them before I go putting them in the battery. So, what can we play with? I think we'll have a go at pulling this lad asunder. I think it's a 11/16. Ferguson spanner would do this. Nice big nut. Should be a copper washer then and that. So that's nice to have that. All of the threads look good in there. They're a plastic hammer rather than hitting damaging threads. Have a little look inside here. Okay, so we got a nice rust performance pack and this one. Plenty of rust on that. Grossland filter, I'd say. Hard to get them anymore. Used to get them regularly. Into the Busker Brewsker, we've got a rubber lad inside. So that'll be going into the parts washer. So look, something to make sure all that was in there. For the usable part. So that should be good. We'll try the bleed screw now and see how that's looking, how the threads are looking. If the threads are bad, we'll run the tap down to them, and if the threads are bad, we'll doctor them. So okay, see what they're looking like. So that's the plumber's tape on that. Let's get the torch and look down in, see are we looking good or looking bad. Threads look perfect. Okay, and there's actually a nice copper washer on that, and this is the holes through it there, so it is a proper bleed screw, and down there, so that's nice. I like that. Screws in lovely. Okay, we've got nice threads in both ends, going right in, looks good. Happy with that. So that is something I can be working on, getting that fitted to my Ferguson. Again, getting it that little bit more complete than the original. So that's okay. This lad here, we've got a nice bit of playing to do with here. Get all of these moving and freed up, and just want to keep all of the nuts. Olives can all be replaced on them, but not fussed about that. We do have the suction working. Need to start getting in there, lubed up to have a go at taking out some of these. This is all brass as well, so it cleans up lovely like. So we'll put a little rag in there. It will leave jaw marks, so taking this little caution will just help reduce the amount of jaw marks. And I'll try and grip it on one of the metal nuts so we're not damaging things. Okay, So, wait till we see now. Yes, it is missing the knob off the end of it. I'll say, I know you're probably saying, for people who don't know what Kai gas you're saying, it is there. It's a little bit different. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. I just want to, just interesting to see what exactly is left, because whatever way it's after breaking, it looks like it's actually after breaking fairly flush. Okay, really flush. Actually, there's something in there, like written on it, or stamped on it. So I want to be careful with how I go cleaning that. Started breaking really, really flush. Yeah. I think that might be a nice soft. Say turn down the pressure in the shot blaster. Just clean that up and see what's there. So it's after. It looks nearly like it was made that way. Strange. That's strange. Very strange now, so it is. Trying to make sense of this now. I'll have to look at the one that's complete. Maybe the whole lot's meant to come up, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, I'll have to have a look, but look, it doesn't look too bad. I'll give these screws a clean out. See if we can remove them. I think it's going to be fun, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they are, I forget if they're metal or not. Most likely are, and they're going into brass, so might try deepening them with a hacksaw blade. I feel any of them are being a little bit, yeah. You have to pick first and pick all the paint out of them. Try and do the least amount of damage here. Bit of grey and then the red primer underneath, so we'll pick all of that out. Try and get the deep, as lot as deep as possible, gives the best chance of getting them out in one piece. If we can do that, we can get that bit of brass ring out of it, then work on that separately, polish it up, varnish it to keep the shine on it, and that'll definitely help look its best. I'm sure this might just get someone out of the hole, say. They wanted to fill their dash with something where Kai gas is meant to go, or if they had a bit of a Kai gas pump themselves, this might easily come in handy to help make a complete one. I'd say the best idea here is most likely going to be trying a few screwdrivers, whichever one fits the best in there is the one you're going to use. That's just widen the slot, so if this starts acting the mick, I will be able to tap that back into shape. These start misbehaving at all or not wanting to come out, we'll just leave them be and we'll work around them. Shot blaster will clean around them. Yeah, I'm not going to go making a hames of that. I think we'll just clean all around them as best we can. Shot blast everything and not risk breaking anything. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do with that. They're soaking away. I'll try all of them connections then. So this lad here, what I want to do is this grease nipple out anyway, firstly. I want to start getting penetrating oil in there. So it could be smaller than it. It's 11/16. It could be a 3/8. Lovely. That is what we want to see. I want to see all the stuff coming out nice and easy. And I can bring this over to the parts washer then. Every day. Keep getting the brush and brushing in diesel and kerosene there. But to start it off, might need to just scratch out a bit of the old grease. There's any in there. Spray down a bit of this penetrating oil, and every day even put the air gun in there, try and blow it down. Anyway, I'm not fussed about that. I'm more fussed about the fact the grease nipple is happy to come out. Now clean around there to make sure we can get all of that dirt out of it to help the penetration oil go down into it. And most importantly, to make sure that there's not a big snot of weld on it. So many of them ended up being welded. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing with that every day into the parts washer, because I'd end up using a full can of that stuff. I think now, for the fun of it, I might just try a bar on it, but I can see someone had it in a vice before. I can see the marks on it. So I would be doubtful we're going to win it straight away. And of course, my vice is just a little bit too wide to grip just the bar. But for the fun of it, sure, look, we'll throw a bar on it there. We'll throw a bar on it there and see what happens, just for the fun of it. Not going to tell myself, oh Jesus, how hardly that lucky, are we? I was full of sure now that we were going to be in for a whole handling with this one. Jesus, this isn't great, Nick, so far. Unless the threads are completely shagging. It's turning free. Jesus. I had to cut the other one off the original one beside me here before. Jesus, we're hardly that lucky, are we? Okay, so we're a bit plugged up at the bottom in there. So what we'll do is we'll poke that out. We'll just have a look and see what's happening in there. Poke it into the bin there. Have a look down at the threads. See if they good or bad. Any threads? Yeah, the threads are very good. God, that is surprising. I thought now we would have been in for great fun with that. Now that means we might just be able to continue working on this. Okay, let's look on something here. Of interest, I think it's just maybe for letting out excess grease. There's a hole there, so don't see it on this one yet. Maybe it's covered up. Give it a quick. Okay, so it's there. So that's okay. Now let's see what we're doing here. Will this screw up onto it easy? The threads. it up. You see where it should be up here. Will it stop there? Or sorry, that should go up to the end of the threads there. Make sure the threads are good in it. Should go so far and stop. Like, if the threads are bad in it, it'll just keep turning. Yeah, that's a very definite end there. So I think we're after striking gold with that, grease nipple and all. I couldn't be happier with that. So now we have an original Ferguson adjustable arm. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So what have we got here? This was cut off here, as you can see, so that knuckle there is useless. Pity. This knuckle here, this pin is too worn there to be any good. That's okay. This lad here was cut off there, or broke, so that's useless. So I have a feeling the rest of that is probably fairly bad, but I am going to strip it down just to keep this threaded lad here, in case the threads are really way better than the one that's in the other one. And these threads look really good at the end, so yeah. There's a little bit of work involved in stripping these. A little bit. So there was our pin gone there. I'm not expecting a whole lot to do tonight. I want to just more so just go through the parts. But look, if things are cooperating, sure, look, we'll try and go with the flow until we have to do a little bit more work. So that could be a little bit of an issue, but because this is broke, cut already, it's useless, and this pin is broke. If I have to put the hacksaw through there and cut it out, I will each side. I'm not fussed about that. So what I want to do, if I'm not mistaken, I have to look about cleaning this up. Should be a pin. Inside. So the pin goes through there. You see it there as well. Tap that through. Take off this. There's a gear on the other side of that. It's helical gear, 90 degree. There's a gear on the end of that shaft there. Take that out. Take out the shaft. Take out this. And this little lad in there, the kind of circular cup, taps up basically. That's what you'd be talking about there. So I might just give them a quick touch of